Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today and I'm bringing you another Dragon Ball Z segment on What If Raditz Never Came to Earth. And this video was requested by Jax Blade, a YouTuber who makes videos about personal fitness, so I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to check out his channel. So in today's video I'll be analyzing what would have happened if Raditz never came to Earth, and I'll put my opinion as to how this would have been a benefit or a detriment to the Dragon Ball Z series. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video. So, let's begin by talking about the Saiyan arc. If Raditz never came to Earth, we can all agree that Goku would not have been killed in a forced special beam cannon struggle. As a result of this, Piccolo and Goku would most likely have stayed rivals against each other, and Piccolo would most likely have not joined the Z Fighters, which would have been a detriment to the series in terms of gaining Piccolo as a potential ally. In addition to this, because Goku didn't die, and Piccolo didn't take Gohan to train, Gohan would have never become a fighter in the series, since he was forced to because of Piccolo taking him after the death of Goku and Raditz, and would have been a complete scholar if it were up to Chi-Chi. In addition, it's also important for me to mention that if Goku never died by the special beam cannon, he would have never met King Kai and would have never been strong enough to combat the Saiyans. Keep in mind that Goku never meeting King Kai would also lead to a lack of communication problems from the other world and the living world. Moving on to the Saiyans, if Raditz had never came to Earth, Vegeta and Nappa would not have known about the Dragon Balls as Raditz was dying. So as a result of this, Vegeta and Nappa would have never came to planet Earth by themselves. Since the two of them would have never came to Earth, the other Z Fighters in the series would never have been killed. This includes Tien, Yamcha, and Chiaotzu, unless Piccolo killed them in a revenge attempt on Earth that carried over from his actions in Dragon Ball. Keep in mind, however, that even though Piccolo would have never joined the Z Fighters, he may not have been completely evil, as the events of Dragon Ball were 5 years before Dragon Ball Z, and Piccolo may have just been evil but not necessarily aggressive. It's also important to mention that if Goku was ever forced to kill Piccolo, he has to consider the consequence that if he killed Piccolo, the Dragon Balls would disappear. As a result of all of this, the Z Fighters would have never trained for the Saiyans, since the Saiyans were not informed by Raditz. Goku would have trained on his own pace, but would have never lived up to his potential as he did when he died. Keep in mind that the other Z Fighters dying also helped them get much stronger as they trained with King Kai in the other world. It's also important to note that since the Saiyans would have never came to Earth, Vegeta would have never been an ally to the Z Fighters, which is extremely important throughout the Dragon Ball Z series. As far as the Namek arc goes, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz would still probably be together, and although they may not have known about the Earth Dragon Balls, they would have eventually have learned about the Dragon Balls as Frieza learned about them on his own, and the three Saiyans would have probably have followed Frieza's orders, since Vegeta revolted against Frieza when he learned about the Dragon Balls on his own. Since Vegeta didn't receive a very important Zenkai boost on planet Earth when he fought against the Z Fighters, this would impact his decision to revolt, since he would have been much weaker as that Zenkai boost helped him overpower Kui and Dodoria. So we can make a safe assumption that Vegeta may have continued to work for Frieza for a longer point in time, or maybe permanently, had he not gone to Earth. As far as the Z Fighters in the Namek arc go, since Goku would have never gotten into a fight with the Saiyans on Earth, he would have never gained a Zenkai boost and would not have gone through gravity training on the way to Namek. Plus, he wouldn't need to go to Namek since the Z Fighters were never killed in the first place anyways. Because of this, he wouldn't have gotten a Zenkai boost against the Ginyu Force once Ginyu was in his body, and would have never faced Frieza, which helped him become a Super Saiyan. Because of this, Goku never becoming a Super Saiyan would have made him a cream puff when he fought against the androids which were still to be unleashed in the world. Since Vegeta would have never came to Earth, Trunks would never be born, and future Gohan would have never survived for 13 years against the androids and wouldn't have been a fighter regardless because of Chi-Chi. This means that Goku would have never gotten the heart virus medicine. And for those of you who saw my video last week on the alternate timeline theory, there wouldn't have been an alternate timeline created to improve history, and it wouldn't matter if Bulma went back in time since Goku would have been too weak anyways. All the events that would take place afterwards are completely irrelevant, as those villains were way too strong and their existence on Earth is dependent on an alive Goku and the other Z fighters. It's also important for me to mention that Goku, even if he got his heart virus or not by being infected by whatever means necessary, would have been simply too weak to combat future villains. So, at the end of the day, you may be able to make an argument that Raditz did indeed save the Dragon Ball Z world. Piccolo would have still been a bad guy. Gohan may not have ever been a fighter. Goku wouldn't even know what a Super Saiyan is or would have never become one, and Vegeta may have still worked for Frieza. If a major villain attacked the Earth, Goku and the Z fighters would have been too weak to combat them, and if the Saiyans eventually came to Earth later on, Goku and the Z fighters would have not stood a chance against them, and since Vegeta would be so much stronger than Goku, he would never respect Goku and would have never become a good guy. This is also reinforced by Raditz, Nappa, and Frieza's gang being around, which would influence Vegeta to continue being the evil Saiyan Prince. So we can safely say that Raditz coming to Earth did benefit the world, and it would have been a huge detriment if he hadn't. On the bright side, Goku would have been a considerably better father to Gohan and Goten if Goten was born at a much earlier point in time, because Goku would have been alive to actually raise his sons and not let Piccolo do the dirty work for him. So guys, that has been my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on other things that may or may not have happened that I didn't mention. I'd like to close this video out by thanking Eddie Gonzalez for making my new intro. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel below. So please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys.